श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय 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 जय राम ओम
It has gone. Why this is not going on?
No, that's very sad. You have not taken that line again.
Collected. Now it has come. It has come. It has come.
जय जय राम
Just now it has come.
ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram, Hare Ram. It has come. Thank you.
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम 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 श्री राम Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram. God experience, as you all know, these have come from the satsang held by Beloved Papa, either in the bhajan hall or in the Panchavati, when devotees used to gather here. Swami Krishnananda Ji Maharaj was able to take down and later on brought it out. In the vision it was serialized. If we remember right, before Papa dropped the body, this was gone through by him. It's a very interesting narrative, satsang. There is no order there. That is the first, non-traditional. Whatever Papa felt like sharing every day, he shared. In the course of it, if devotees wanted to make any question, that was also recorded. So every day we are sitting with Papa, sitting before Papa and listening to him. If that mental makeup is there, we will be able to enjoy it more. Every answer, every narrative, every discourse of Papa is directly addressed to us, in the sense that it is linked to our life. It should not be treated as a discussion given to the audience. That should be our attitude. How do I take it? How does it help me to move closer to you? This should be the mental background. So with that we will start 14th January 1961. Papa, God is a mystery. You cannot say what He is and what He is not. When you think of God, you are baffled. What then to say of Him? In such moods, words flow out of Ramdas. He says something about Him, next moment he contradicts what he says. He is not speaking. Words gush out of Him. When opposites clash and disappear, what remains is silence. You can speak only about one of the opposites at a time. Say, for example, either light or darkness. What can you say of that which is beyond light or darkness? You can conceive of light, conceive of darkness, but not of that of which is beyond light and darkness. Even so, God can be realized, but cannot be expressed, cannot be defined. It will be futile to describe the indescribable, to express the inexpressible. He is the witness of His silence. He is also the witness of His talk. He is silent, He is talk. He is beyond silence and talk. Silence cannot describe God. Talk cannot describe Him. There must be neither talk nor silence. He is the all-pervading, all-inclusive, all-transcendent Godhead. When I talk, I am dumb. When I walk, I am still. When I work, I am at rest. The Gita brings us to that point where these opposites meet and lose distinction. Purusha is static, Prakriti is dynamic. One intensively active, the other completely at rest. The supreme, all-comprehensive Godhead spoken of in the Gita is the Purushottama, who is static, who is dynamic, and who is beyond both. God is at once active and inactive. To describe him is difficult. One visualizes him and tries to describe him. It is all imagination, not reality. We form our own ideas about him, but he is beyond all ideas. He is beyond all thought, all imagination. Imagination cannot soar up to him. Mind cannot grasp him. Words cannot describe him. Still we try to set him forth in words. His glories are infinite. His powers are infinite. He who is beyond conception, beyond expression, has become everything. There is none but he. Therefore the saint sees himself everywhere, sees God everywhere, because God and he are not different. Ramdas cannot speak of him except in this strain. That is why, we find so many paradoxical statements. Actually, it is not paradoxical. Looking at one facet of an object we can describe. To comprehensively look at it and describe is a tough job. And here another important problem is, he is the very subject. Only an object can come under the ambit of explanation. We can describe, we can define, we can express only that which is separate from us. When he is the very subject, the one who is behind this very talk, that power, how can he be brought within the ambit of explanation? That is why it is purely subjective. Only through inward journey, some move can be made towards him. And we have been told by Mahatmas that a glimpse can come only when the seeker and the sought become one. So long as the seeker is there, thought cannot become a reality. Because that because of which the seeking is taking place, is the one which we are seeking now. Are you clear? That power, because of which we are seeking now, is the one we are seeking now to understand. So how ridiculous, how paradoxical, how difficult it is. That is why he tried his level best. It was a great work. In Kenopanishad it says, oh?
Not clear.
We are seeking God, all of us are seekers of God, sadhakas. We are seeking God. Here it has been reminded, the power with which the seeking is being done now is what we are seeking. It is exactly like I am searching for Muktananda. If I start seeking Muktananda elsewhere, will I get him? Suddenly somebody should come and say, hey, look here, what are you talking? You are Muktananda. So Muktananda cannot seek Muktananda outside. Similarly, that power because of which we are all at the moment seeking God is inherent in us. In fact, that is the power because of which we are seeking. And that power we think we are seeking. In Kenopanishad, that is why it is mentioned, that with which your eyes see, but with that eyes you cannot see that. No, that is Brahman. There is a beautiful article which we have shared many a time, but still this might give us some more clarity. As seekers, we begin with the realization that the witness is an ever-present consciousness, even when we doubt its existence. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhudam. Now you are hearing the knowing principle which makes you feel you are hearing. The knowing principle which makes you think that you are seeing. The knowing principle which makes you to assimilate, absorb these thoughts. That knowing principle. You know that you are sitting. You know that you are looking. You know that you are hearing. What is that knowing principle? Normally we call it as consciousness. So when suppose we close our eyes and count 10 times our breathing. We close our eyes and we count 10 times of our breathing. After this exercise is over, we will know that there is a witness there, witnessing the breathing. That is why the count we have been able to take. That witness is ever present. So we begin with the realization that the witness is an ever-present consciousness, even when we doubt its existence. You are right now aware of, say these words, the room, the window, the people around you, your chair, your desktop or laptop. You are aware. You can sit back and simply notice, this is very important. You can sit back, simply notice that you are aware of all these objects floating by. Sounds float through the air. Thoughts float through the mind. And when you notice them, you are effortlessly aware of them. You are effortlessly aware of them. The room in which you are sitting, the chair or the cushion or the sofa on which you are sitting, the laptop or desktop to which you are looking, the window, the light, the fan, if there are people around you, all these to know you don't have to take any efforts. To know their existence there, you don't have to take any efforts. Think, effortlessly you are aware of it. There is a simple, effortless, spontaneous witnessing of whatever happens to be present. Listen carefully, Papa is asking us, Papa today placed before us a most simple but highly complicated theme. A very simple theme, but highly complicated. So here, there is a simple, effortless, spontaneous witnessing of whatever happens to be present. Now, the first stage is over. We are effortlessly watching. Who is watching? When you rest in the simple, clear, ever-present witness, who is witnessing? That is resting. You are resting in the great unborn. Beginningless and endless, we say, Param Puja Papa, that witness. We are named as Papa. Any name we can bring. When you rest in the simple, clear, ever-present witness, you are resting in the great unborn. You are resting in intrinsic spirit, the power, the life force. You are resting in infinite freedom. Thought is not there. Thought is being witnessed. When the thought is not there, we are free. Today morning, one question was put up. What will happen when we drop the body? All explanations can come only when the thought is there. That which is beyond the thought realm, how can we explain in thought? Only we have to experience that thought. For academic interest, for enabling us to believe, for enabling us to develop that ideal, we have been told in the Shastras, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, in various other Shankaras, that there are three bodies, and when the death takes place, only the gross body is dead. Then there is a subtle body which carries all our unfulfilled desires or vasanas, and then finds a suitable opening and enters there to exhaust its unfulfilled desires, and in that process we gather so many again, and so this chakra continues. Evam pravartitam chakram. So we get into the cobweb of the samsaric wrangle. And one fine morning when God wills that we should go to a spiritual preceptor, the spiritual preceptor says, you are constituted of three bodies. You are neither this body, that body, that body. They say gross, subtle and causal, but you are that, who is beyond all these. How can we at the moment conceive of that? Because it is beyond the thought level. When something is beyond the thought level, we cannot. It is impossible. That is why Papa said, darkness and light, it can be brought within the thought level. The thought can identify this is darkness. Thought can identify this is light. That which is beyond these two, thought cannot enter. It is only we can say it in our words, just to satisfy our mind. No? It is a thing that has to be experienced. So when you rest in the simple, clear, ever-present witness, you are resting in the great unborn. You are resting in intrinsic spirit. You are resting in infinite freedom. You cannot be seen. Just like the electricity, the mysterious power, you cannot be seen. You have no qualities at all. You are not this, you are not that. You are not an object. You are the opening or clearing in which the entire manifest world arises right now. But you do not arise in it. It arises in you, in this vast emptiness and freedom that you are. Spirit cannot be grasped or reached or thought or seen. See? Spirit in Atman. It is the ever-present seer. To search for the seer is to miss the point. To search for ever is to miss the point ever forever. How, now this, listen very, the whole thing has been made as kashai now, curfew. This is very important word. Very difficult to comprehend unless we are so attentive. How could you possibly search for that which is right now aware of these words? How could you possibly search for that which is right now aware of these words? You are that. You cannot go out looking for that which is the looker. You cannot go out looking for that which is the looker. And finally he sums up, when you are not an object, you are God. That is why his inward journey is a must. Ram Nam stands for this. Ram Nam helps us in arresting all dissimilar thought currents. It drives away everything, only Ram Nam. When that stage has reached, the witness slowly wells up. Ram Nam stops. It might be for a trial. Again the thought comes. Again we take to Ram Nam, inward journey. This is very important, no? Very crucial for all of us. We have been doing for ages, Papa today has taken that topic because he wanted us to go deeper. By concentrating your mind on the sound of the name, Ram Nam, the mind absorbs the name and thereafter mental repetition starts. Mental repetition is of course far more efficacious than vocal. But it is very difficult where there are external disturbances. So early morning we tried it. Even if it is 10 times, that is all. We are trying to make an inroad, We have to demolish a wall which we have built, which separates us from Him. It needs perfect solitude. So when Ram Nam is repeated mentally, the mind becomes gradually still. And the repetition stops when the mind is perfectly still. Mentally chant, opening the eyes and mentally chanting, it may be difficult. When we close our eyes and mentally chant, this can be tried. Gradually it becomes still. The mind becomes gradually still. And automatically the nama stops. Immediately another thought comes. So here, it does not remain still for a long time. And the moment it is disturbed, repetition of Ram Nam starts again. The effort now is to lengthen the period of the stillness. That is, from the time Ram Nam stopped till it started again. By constant practice, the duration of the stillness is increased until at last it becomes permanent. So we again go back to Papa's words. God is a mystery. You cannot say what He is and what He is not, because He is not an object. He is the very subject. The power because of which now we are seeking. Unknowingly we are seeking that power. Unknowingly. Because from childhood we have developed various concepts of God as an object, as a deity in a temple. As a form of a guru whom we have met, something like that. And we see another devotee, he shares his experience. Suppose you find a Guru Ayappan devotee, you see a Balaji devotee. So like that, they share their experience, Sai Baba devotee. Naturally all those things, is stored in your mind. So we get more and more convinced that He is there. He is there outside us. That has been going on for years together. Decades together. One fine morning, Papa comes and says, He is not an object. We don't dispute with Him, but it's difficult for us to accept that. Only nobody can help us. So we have to try ourselves. He has given us Nama. Any Nama. Because stilling the mind is the only way by which we can have a glimpse of His presence. Stilling the mind means a stage where thoughts are extinct consciously. In deep sleep also, thoughts are not there, but we are not conscious. So here consciousness is there, but thought is not there. That is the stage they want us to reach. So it is difficult. Right from the moment we get up till we retire to bed, thought is there always. One thought or another thought or another thought or another thought. The flow of thought is there, which is called the mind. Mind is called, flow of thought. So unless and until the thought stops, we cannot have a glimpse of the power behind it. Up to thought, becoming aware of the thought is possible. Every one of you know very well, no? Today I had a wonderful, mental experience. That means, something that is positive, that is something elevating, that is something joyful, blissful. You remember? Similarly, that which has disturbed you, that which has unsettled you, you are aware of it. Some temptation, some infatuation, some attachment, some aversion, all these words, how do we say? Because we are in a position to see. This I like, this I don't like. Thought level. So we have been asked to go beyond the thought level. So various methods have been prescribed with various masters. Here Papa tried, concentrating on the sound of the name. Name of God, not anybody. So with the right perspective, when we keep on chanting, we try to concentrate on the sound. When the concentration is shifted to the sound of Ram Nam, automatically all other thoughts give place to that. And then when we get steady, gradually, we experience the mental chanting. No other thoughts. And Papa here says gradually it will become steady. The nama stops. And then immediately another thought comes. The gap between these two. That is what we are aiming at. He is beyond all ideas, he is beyond all thought, all imagination. Imagination cannot soar up to him. Mind cannot grasp him. Words cannot describe him. Still we try to set him forth in words. His glories are infinite. His powers are infinite. He who is beyond conception, beyond expression, has become everything. There is none but He. Therefore the saint sees himself everywhere, sees everywhere, sees God everywhere, because God and he are not different. Ramdas cannot speak of him except in this strain, in this method. So now we have to employ our own techniques. This much intellectually it is very convincing now. But the other part, we have to do it by ourselves. If we stop with hearing, no. So during our early hours in the morning, when the mind is perfectly fresh, any slight disturbance will tumble down. This is highly a subjective thought. Papa wants us, every one of us, to take to this inward journey. Just like to concentrate on one thought, another thought is necessary. Ramnam is that thought. Holding on to one particular nama. All other thoughts they go away. And when all other thoughts go away, we have been promised that gradually it will become still. We try now. Mental chanting, concentration on the sound, paving the way for welling up of the witness consciousness, resulting in stillness, for a moment. Again another thought comes. Again we drive it away with the help of Ramnam. Again gradually it becomes still. Again another thought. This is how we practice. When we do this, it is not that easy. Even if we try and if we get a glimpse of the stillness, still, we don't feel that we had a glimpse of him. That is because Papa elsewhere says, the mind has to become pure. Because then only this tendency to bring out another thought, like this, this is the timing. In this timing, another thought rushes in. That is because the purity of the mind has not been reached. Purity of the mind can be reached only when The mind is trained, tutored not to go outside. So what matters during my non-chanting time has its own impact on trying to still the mind. If I am always going out through the 5 sense organs, if I don't have any control, it will be difficult. Every sense organ will push us out. Closing your eyes, we can reach anywhere, Any number of years we can go back now. So many objects are there in our heart now. So many persons are there in our heart now. So many situations are there in our heart now. So many places. So many likes, so many dislikes. Are we aware? So Papa says, only a pure mind will be able to retain this. The gap between two thoughts, it can be tried only simultaneously, so we have to do this purification. Withdrawing ourselves from withdrawing is not the correct word. Absolute control over the sense objects and therefore the sense organs. If I am able to lead such a disciplined life, that means the mind is being controlled. It will not go just like that. So when we try this Ramnam, that is why we said morning it will be easy because it will be fresh. Later on when you meet so many people, so many thought waves are there, so many likes, dislikes, appreciation, depreciation, demotion, so many things, fault finding, and everything. Mind has become crowded. And suppose we sit for Ramnam, what will happen? What will overweigh? That's all. So saints don't directly say, they indirectly tell us this, that unless and until this non-chanting time is spent in a disciplined manner, the chanting cannot become effective. Meaning, chanting cannot lead us to the stillness. These are all interlinked. Papa is talking from his level of revealment. So, hearing this, suppose we try this, we are not, because we have not trained our equipment. Once again we will read. Today's topic is not 10 times you can add PhD. 10 times. Very subjective, highly subjective. God is a mystery. You cannot say what He is and what He is not. When you think of God, you are baffled. What then to say of Him? In such moods, words flow out of Ramdas. He says something about Him. Next moment he contradicts what he says. He is not speaking. Words gush out of him. When opposites clash and disappear, what remains is silence. You can speak only about one of the opposite at a time. Light or darkness. What can you say of that which is beyond light or darkness? That is why we all repeat the same prayer without any deep impact,
Adorable brother.
No. Trigunaaditam. Bhavaditam. What is that Bhavaditam? Everybody is, we are also telling. When you say Atitam, 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 that is an area where the mind cannot enter. Beyond. Transcending. You have to rise above. No? From the, not that they are not there. They are there. From the plains we are seeing so many things. But when we go to the hilltop, and from there when we look, a comprehensive picture, we are rising above that which was immediately before us. It was preventing us to go beyond certain level. But when we rise to a higher level, we are reaching out to a higher level, wider level. And when we are traveling by aircraft, again, so Atitam, beyond or transcending, some idea we have. There the localizing tendency will not be there. This place is good, this place is bad, this is dirty, this is beautiful. After some time, you see everything there, na? Dry land on one side, after some you see lush green forest areas, then you see water, ocean, then you see there is no water. Everything you are in a position to see. Suppose you go to the beach only, you see the water. You see the beach, where your mind, eyes can reach the limited objects. But when you rise above, think about it. These are all something that is approximating to the reality. Only through the known, we can try to make an effort to know the unknown. Because known is the only support we have, aid. But unknown is the area where we have to go. It has never been known to us. But how do we go? We are all now doing with the known techniques, in the known area. And what we are aiming at is the unknown.
Swamiji, it is like a blind alley.
This has to be contemplated upon very deeply. This particular, he says, light or darkness we can always conceive. We have seen light, we have seen darkness. But that which is beyond light and darkness, how can we explain? What can you say of that which is beyond light and darkness? You can conceive of light, conceive of darkness, but not that which is beyond light and darkness. But still we do that, no? Brahmanandam, Paramasugadam, Kevalam, Jnanamurtim, Dandvatitam. Beyond the pairs of opposites. Gagana Sadrisham, it is like the void, great void. Tattvamasyadiriksham, Ekam. We can never understand Ekam, We have only see Bahu. We are in the midst of many. And we have been asked to see the Ekam. Vimalam Asalam, Sarvadi Sakshibhudam, Bhavaditam, beyond all imagination, beyond all attributes. We can only say that, That one word is enough for us to take to inward journey for days, weeks, months, years together. Bhavatitam. What is that Bhavatitam? Triguna Rehitam. Sadgurum Tam Namami. So they cannot be, even so, God can be realized but cannot be expressed, cannot be defined. It will be futile to describe the indescribable, to express the inexpressible. He is the witness of his silence. There are two his here. In writing and reading, it is easy to understand. He is the witness, capital H, of his silence, small h. He is the witness of the talk, of his talk. He, capital H, his talk, H lower. So there are two things in us now. One is he, who is beyond everything. The other is everything that we know. But his power only makes us to know that. He is the witness of his silence. He is also the witness of his talk. He is silent. He is talk. He is beyond silence and talk. We cannot understand even silence. We cannot understand even talk. We can never understand that which is beyond silence and talk. Silence cannot describe God. Talk cannot describe Him. There must be neither talk nor silence. He is the all-pervading, all-inclusive, all-transcendent Godhead. No? The only way to express. When I talk, I am dumb. When I walk, I am still. When I work, I am at rest. These are all easy to read, So we have to quote solitude and try this. The Gita brings us to that point where these opposites meet and lose distinction. Purusha is static, Prakriti is dynamic. One intensely active, the other completely at rest. The supreme all-comprehensive Godhead spoken of in the Gita is the Purushottama, who is static, dynamic and beyond. Papa must have... Oh?
Can it be something like potential and kinetic?
Anything you try. And finally, it is not that. That is the beauty of it. That one which makes us to feel that we are. Again, that one particular word, though which is difficult to remember. We are seeking that power which makes us to seek. So unless all these aberrations, all these, appendage is removed, it is difficult. So that is why Ramnam plays a very important role here, very important role. And when Papa had done a lot of manana, we now infer that initially he did not give the meaning of Ramnam. Later on he chose to give the meaning of Ramnam. Om stands for the Purusha. Sri stands for the Prakriti. And Ram stands for the Purushottama. Om stands for the static. Sri stands for the dynamic. Ram stands for both and beyond both. In the speaks of Ramdas, we have given this for enabling us to go inward. Even while chanting Ramdas, effort can be made. So we don't go by word when we chant. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. What Om stands for, Shri stands for, Ram stands for, Jai stands for. We don't apply our mind. We don't have time to apply. So during the non-chanting time, suppose we apply our mind intensely, it might help us to some extent to travel with the theme while we are chanting. It is something we have to try. We cannot say it will help. No, it can't. We are all habituated, one after another, the Nama goes on. Mind is hearing it. But one day we started thinking, when that is the case, why did he give the meaning? Elaborately he has done. What is Dasik? In Dasik Ramdas, it must have been culled out from some letters. So when Bhavani Shankar Rao decided to collect letters from various devotees, and then it was brought out beautiful, a cream of Papa's philosophy. There, he explains with them, that is how he says, Sri Samartha Ramadas assures the aspirant that if he takes Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram 13 crores of time, he will have the vision of Sri Ram. The mantra mentioned by Samartha Ramadas is without Om. The mantra Ramdas gives you is Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hence Ramdas from his own experience tells you that by repeating this mantra with Om 6 crores of time, you will attain salvation. Repeat the mantra at all times until the target is reached. Everybody will say, no, I will have the mantra, I will have the rosary, every day will write in the diary. Papa immediately takes away that freedom. You need not keep count of the mantra. When it reaches 6 crores, you will automatically realize Ram, the Supreme Self. So chanting His name is the way to make Him manifest Himself in you. Chanting His name is the way to make Him manifest Himself in you. The meaning of Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram is as follows. Om, the impersonal truth. Shri, divine power. Ram, God who is both truth and power, both personal and impersonal. Ram represents the Purushottama of the Gita, who is at once Purusha and Prakriti, and also the Supreme Transcendent One beyond both. Jai Ram, victory to God. Jai Jai Ram, victory to God. God who is at once truth and power, impersonal and personal, victory to Thee, victory to Thee. When God is victorious in your heart, all darkness born of egoism disappears. There is then nothing but a feast of immortal joy and peace for you. So Purusha, Prakriti, Purushottama. Static, dynamic and beyond. So Purusha is static, Prakriti is dynamic. One intensively active, the other completely at rest. The supreme, all-comprehensive Godhead spoken of in the Gita is the Purushottama, who is static, dynamic and beyond both. God is at once active and inactive. To describe him is difficult. One visualizes him and tries to describe him. It is all imagination, not reality. We form our own ideas about him, but he is beyond all ideas. He is beyond all thought, all imagination. Imagination cannot soar up to him. Mind cannot grasp him. Words cannot describe him. Still we try to set him forth in words. His glories are infinite. His powers are infinite. He who is beyond conception, beyond expression, has become everything. There is none but He. Therefore the saint sees himself everywhere. He is God everywhere. The God and He are not different. Ramdas cannot speak of Him except in this strain. There is no need to take up any topic. Enough food for thought. Hearing and going, it will not help. So when we take to chanting of Ram Nam, Papa is making it very, very clear that you are chanting the Purushottama. You are also chanting the Purusha. You are also chanting the Prakriti. That which is static is represented by Ram Nam. That which is dynamic, that is represented by Ram Nam. That which is both and beyond both, that is also represented by Ram Nam. So He wants, during our off time, because our mind when we take to chanting of God's name, it may not be put a break, Ram, put a break. Ram, you are the Purusha. Like that, it won't work out. So during our non-chanting time, suppose we go elaborately deep into this, and then when we take to chanting of His name, we can see, objectively also we can see, He is the Purusha, He is the Prakriti, and He is the Purushottama. This sort of mental attitude will help us to capture the real inner content. Even if it is static, we need some concept, Active, okay, that is easily understandable. But that which is beyond both, very difficult. So each one has to find a method for himself or herself. Papa has given this clue, and he says beyond this Ramdas cannot. This is the only way by which Ramdas can tell you. He is there, but he cannot be explained. So all these things we have to keep it in mind. 2-3 things are very clear now. Ram Nam, we really understand the utility or the purpose for which Ram Nam is being sung, chanted. What should be the attitude while chanting? What should be the attitude while chanting is not being done? There should be an alignment with the same theme, even when we are active in the world. Otherwise the mind will take us out. We have started, it will take us to different routes, and ultimately we will be in total confusion. You remember the incident explained by Papa in Inquest of God. One night, early morning, the leader started, and they lost the way. And what did they do? When the legs got stuck in a swampy area, they remained there till the dawn. So similarly, if we are unprepared, if we are not very clear, we will get stuck up somewhere. We will lose our way. So that is why we are clearly warned here. What should be the attitude while chanting Ram Nam? What should be the attitude while we are active not chanting Ram Nam? So that the mind is being trained trained to be in the flow of thought of God, even when we are chanting or we are not chanting. And then we take to intensive chanting, it will help us. Because the mind is tamed, mind is disciplined, mind is tutored not to go out of the bounds.
Swamiji, in that Swami, that area where they were walking and he could not find the way, all of them lost faith excepting Papa. So does it mean that we should not lose our faith in our Guru and Master? In that situation?
Sure. 100%. Whenever we are perplexed, we go and open. And then what have we expressed? Again we check up whether we have really lost the way. If we have lost the way, we will pull back, put us again on the road. It's an uphill task. Uphill task where you are not very clear about the path. Because each one has to find out his own path. That is the difficulty. Each one has to find his own path, suiting to his equipment and tendencies and aptitude. So it is purely Uddhared Atmanatman. We have to do it by ourselves. We can take guidance from the Guru, but doing should be done by ourselves only. So many topics we have covered today in a one-page narration. Only one page we have gone. But enough for us till we meet day after tomorrow. Or more than that. Wednesday. Yeah, correct. Today is Sunday. So we will all meet. 2 days we have got. Monday and Tuesday, we can break our head with this. And find out the creed. And when we meet on Wednesday, let us see how he has helped us to move inward. We all pray to him, give us don't make us to get demotivated, please. Because after some time we may not know the path. We leave it, no, please. Make us persevering, make us committed. Empower us to take to inward journey with all earnestness. I must hit the target. And we have been assured, since we are all the privileged ones, the selected ones, we will hit the target. Otherwise, he will not make us to sit and hear all these things. Such a subjective subject, dry, absolutely dry. But he made us to hear. He made us to go, travel along with it. That itself says that he has selected us. The entrance test we have passed. Everybody is hearing now, na? We have all passed the entrance test.
Yes,
Now we should not leave. We should take up the course. So we will meet on Wednesday. Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram